I'm not supposed to skate really because it shakes up my arm, but I do anyways a little bit.
Hey, we're here in San Clemente's industrial complex at Astrodeck to meet up with Greyson Fletcher, who should be arriving any moment.
Greyson is not only one of the most exciting amateur skateboarders to watch right now, he also comes from a long line of surf royalty. Son of Christian Fletcher, who revolutionized aerial surfing. Nephew of Nathan Fletcher, who's had some of the most insane big wave performances in recent years. Grandson of Herbie Fletcher, who's one of the first to surf backdoor and off the wall, tow surf with jet skis, and skated empty pools years before Dogtown. Then you've got his grandmother, Dibby, whose father, Walter Hoffman, was a pioneer of big wave surfing at Makaha, and sister Joyce Hoffman was a 4-time world champion. We're going to spend the day with Greyson where he works at Astrodeck, the Fletcher's family business.
So what do you do here?
I just do shipping and receiving out in the warehouse. Here's all the pads. The sandals are all right here and on the other side. Pack them up in a box and ship them out.
Astrodeck is revolutionary. It's a traction to help you stick on your board. I think it was probably around the mid-'80s, Herbie started introducing a little kick to the back, so you had this sort of wedge that you could put your foot in. It was almost as if the foot was pushing on the board harder than wax could do justice.
The last place you touch a surfboard when you're shaping it is where your foot goes, and so you stick that pad on there, and the kick tail and the arches and the traction is the most important part of controlling your board. So I've worked probably with more surfers than anybody in the world, and we've had the largest surf team since about '79.
One thing that I remember so much about Astrodeck was the ads in the magazines with basically all your heroes were there. You know, all the greatest surfers of the time were corralled together in this photograph, and only Herbie Fletcher could have done that.
Yeah, I started surfing when I was a little guy. You know, on balsa wood and painted, and we wore fur coats because it was damn cold. And this is 1963 at the pool, barefooted with my Levi's and surf jacket on.
Is that still clay wheels?
Those were the first. I put clay wheels and rode pools.
Yeah.
And I was the first one to put clay wheels on a board. Rode the pool. It was all custom in those days.
Why didn't you wear shoes?
No grip tape. We didn't wear shoes skateboarding. We're surfers.
Some years back I was doing a book about surf, skate, snow history and how they all influenced one another. And I was in touch with Herbie, and Herbie ended up sending a photograph of him skateboarding in a pool. It was the earliest photo of a skater in a pool that I was able to find. Let's put it that way.
When you were doing this, did you ever think you'd see stuff like what Greyson's doing now?
No. Nobody skated pools.
Yeah.
This is like 12 years or 13 years before Dogtown. You know, there was nobody skating pools. So you can see Greyson's third generation pool skater.
And you think he's maybe one of the only third generation pool skaters in the world?
I think he is the only one. I don't know, it just happened. We're just having fun, California style.
Yes, you know, surfing spawned skateboarding, and then skateboarding came around and inspired surfing in a kind of perfect way. It was Herbie's son, Christian Fletcher, who started doing aerials. You know, the same way you kind of need a nose and tail kick on a skateboard to do ollies, having that wedge to push against was really a key thing in terms of aerial surfing taking off. And I think that probably was the first time that skateboarding was clearly influencing surfing.
I didn't really like the water till like 3 years ago when I moved back to San Clemente. That's when I started surfing and stuff. I'm learning the airs and stuff. It's pretty fun.
We were talking the other day, and he goes, a lot of the skaters don't surf, and they kind of say, and I said, well, why would you want to miss out on that fun?
Yeah.
And so you watch these guys really come along, and when they're young, you can really kind of pick out who has real natural talent. You can see it.
Dibby's, obviously she's got to be the rock on being the mom, and you know, and you need that for compassion, and you need that for love, and she's also a fucking badass herself. She's fucking rad.
When he came to live with us, I said, dude, you know, you really got to get your surfing going, right? And so it was interesting to watch him come along. He's already got it with the skating, right? And then you just need to refine it some. It's kind of a science how to help create a good surfer. And I think Herb and I kind of know that drill. We've done it a couple times.
The kids, you can tell the ones that have it, and you just got to bring it out. Most kids that are athletic have the talent, you know, but they got to be worked with and loved and have it brought out of them. And have them understand it and feel good about it and use it. Because they can develop it, and kids are always going to change it. Just like the kids surfing today, man. They're in the tube so long, and then they find a little hole, little doggy door, they shoot right out of the tube. It's incredible. It just keeps changing. They bust through the lips and stuff, you know?
Yeah, who do you look at today? Like, who's the...
John, Kelly Slater still in there, you know, but John's my favorite for sure. He's got talent, all around talent, and I've known him since he's been a little kid and watched him. And
You had a couple runs in one of Blake and John's videos.
Oh, yeah.
You hang out with those guys?
Yeah, John's the best. Blake's cool, too.
Do you want to get into surfing at kind of at that level?
I want to get good at surfing, yeah. Why not? Figure might as well.
Being in Hawaii and watching, you know, John and all his brothers show up to the pool because Nathan and Christian are there. And they start skating Cholo's pool. And now you have Greyson, who, you know, is carrying on the Fletcher name, but in skateboarding. And I'm sure if he wanted, he could go out and surf.
Oh, there's my uncle. This is my uncle, okay. Hey, what's up, bud? Oh, nothing, just cruising.
You're casted or braced?
Yeah, separated my AC and I tore something in my shoulder too. I think it was a front side air on the main hip that everybody does the ollies on.
Shitty.
Yeah. Could be more shady though, could be worse.
Do you think you had a lot of influence on Greyson growing up?
I hope so. Sometimes you'd get to stay the night, probably about 8. Then we'd watch fucking Sight Unseen, watch Cardiel's part, show him the power pop, just how gnarly Cardiel was. And then we'd go skate, have pizza.
So then all of a sudden I get a call at one point from Nathan, and he was like, I need you to help me get some support for Greyson. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, he's kind of at a level now where I know he needs to be around the right influencers to help him progress, and I can't give it to him. So then I got Arto on it, because at that point Arto had been mentoring all my guys and the younger dudes. So all of a sudden Arto goes out with him and comes back and it's just like, dude, he's fucking gnarly. Like, unbelievable.
I don't know, surfing's kind of crossed over into skateboarding, like back the other way again, you know?
Yeah.
So it took a long time because surfing made skateboarding, you know, and then to skateboarders, surfing was lame or not cool or fucking whatever, like when pressure flips came out or something, you know, some retarded trick. But it's pretty trippy to see how people are more acceptive, or they appreciate more of like a surf style. Maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, if you skated kind of like that, like it was almost like you had bigger feet, or like a slash style, and it was almost like pushing Mongo or whatever people say.
I think in a lot of ways, having brothers is not always easy, and I think Christian was such a kind of phenomenon at that time that Nathan kind of felt like he was in the shadow of that. Do you understand? You know, and he came back and he really came into his own, and then Greyson came along, and so then he had to be Christian's son and Nathan's nephew and her, you know, and you just go, that's a big thing. I said, there's both sides. There's the good side of it because it really helps. You have name recognition, and then it really sucks because you have name recognition.
Yeah.
No denying, she's the big boss man. Except for she's the big boss lady. And then people will call on the phone and be like, oh, can I talk to Herbie, blah, blah. She's like, no, you're going to talk to me. So like, they're like, whoa, she's the man, though, or the woman. She's the best. How about that? It's like playing a game where you burn yourself with a cigarette and...
How was the game played?
See, you just burn yourself and see whoever backs away first. I used to play a lot. My buddies don't like to play that game, though, so you gotta find random people. The fuck are the Makua pads? The fuck are the Kaloe pads? Oh, right there, yep, 949.
You need a hand?
I could do it. Fully doable. The fuck? Can you grab that box out of there for me? Sorry.
Do you pay much attention to the surf industry outside of Astrodeck?
I like to try and follow John John. But other than that, I don't really pay attention to it. I don't know. I like going surfing a lot, though. I don't pay attention to the skating industry either, though, so go figure. And then people are always like, oh, do you watch football? Fuck football.
Surfing got so sports-like that it kind of lost the sand. And so what happens is that it gets to resurgence where you want it to be really cool and kind of hardcore, so it has sand back in it, because that's what makes it interesting. Because it becomes almost generic after a while. You know, it's been marketed, there's huge contests and all this stuff, But I think that what makes surfing interesting is when it's kind of cool and kind of rough.
I stopped going to school a while ago.
How come?
Because school sucks. I don't know. I don't really like school. It's not for me. Yeah. If you can get through with your life without going through school, good for you. If you can't, and yet like do the college thing, good for you too.
I didn't graduate from high school, and neither did Herbie. And so I understand that about not school. But I'll tell you something, I sure wished I'd known a little bit more about business when I got to run one myself. Because Greyson said, am I going to have to be here forever? And I said, no. I said, I'll tell you what I think of Astrodeck for you, Greyson. I said, it's like you're gone to business school. I said, very few young athletes have a chance to ever have an education to understand the business side. I've seen some things that had I known, I would have done with Christian and Nathan. But I was a teenager when I had them. What the hell did I know? Nothing. And so with this opportunity, I saw a few different things that I could do that it would make me better at my job and certainly help him in the long run a lot more.
Obviously, Greyson looks at his grandpa and he looks at his fucking dad and he looks at his uncle and it's like, I'm gonna fucking rip or I'm a fucking pussy. They have like, there's no other way. It's like either fucking be up here or.
Maybe you'll just have a pro fun. Yeah, just surf and skate.
All right, here comes Greyson. Boom.
Because then you don't ever have to be the best. And I mean, I don't know, maybe some people like the feeling of being the best, but just kind of being a kook at something, it's just so much better, because then all of a sudden you get good at it and you don't even like it. Really, the guy who's having the most fun is winning.
Oh yeah, that's the first time I did that trick in a while. It was a switch, nollie, front, blunt.
Switch, nollie, front, blunt. It's different like fakie?
It's fakie, same thing. I don't know what to call it if it's fakie though. Hey Cody, what would you call a switch, nollie, front, blunt?
What?
Switch, nollie, front, blunt.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Look at it, it's like a nollie, front, blunt, but it's coming up switch. It'd be a fakie, switch, front, blunt. Fakie, bonk, switch, front, blunt. Yeah, I guess. Well, there you have it. It's a controversy.